Phone isn't working too good. Let's go to another caller. How about let's see, Jonathan in Camden, New Jersey.
Hello?
Hey.
Hello. Oh, hi.
You're on the air.
To say I'm a really big fan of the show, and you guys really taught me well.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just have something to tell you. What if I told you I had like actual evidence for reincarnation?
I would say that's interesting.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Now, keep in mind that I am an open-minded person, and if I am wrong about this, then I'll gladly accept it.
Okay.
Okay, what if I told you that there was a couple stories of, about a kid who, like, three-year-old kid who remembers a past life, and then that past life information is later verified through research.
I would say that's an interesting story.
Yeah, because, I have watched a couple documentaries about reincarnation, and they talk about how this kid is obsessed with airplanes and how he was a Marine a long time ago fighting the Japanese, and he remembers everything in the past, and that information about the past is later verified.
And we know that nobody coached this child.
Huh?
Well, I mean,
You're getting this third or fourth hand.
Right, this is a story of a story. I mean, basically, you said you have evidence, and I'm saying, do we have evidence beyond a story of a story?
Oh, if this is true or not?
Yeah.
Oh, that, you know what, you got me right there. I'm not sure about if it's true or not, but why would millions of people who've had these experiences lie about it?
Do you believe UFOs are abducting people?
Well, in a way, kind of. I mean, I don't have enough evidence to believe that. I see what you're going with this.
Okay.
And, yes, you know what, I have to accept that, yeah.
Well, I guess let's say for the sake of argument, let's say that we did prove this, that this kid is saying all this weird stuff and nobody coached him, and, we have no idea how he got this information, and he knows, social security number of a Marine that lived, 50 years ago. I guess my question is, why would reincarnation be the only explanation that would be possible?
You're right. There are other theories out there, like, for example, there's a person who believes that when a person dies, thoughts can just randomly transfer to another body. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I think it's like the Akashic record or something, the idea that thoughts and things just hang out in the cosmos available to anyone. And also you have the idea of people that say they channel other things and spirits and stuff like that. You've got the Christian concepts like demons that could be possessing this child. I mean, and on top of that, there could be, for example, some weird natural explanation of a phenomenon that's very rare that we've simply not uncovered yet. So for me, even if this was true, it's simply an interesting phenomenon that would require further investigation in order to determine a cause.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit skeptical about a TV show or whatever, because
I think he agreed.
There's lots and lots of those that try to sensationalize, or they have an agenda, or they want to convince you that there's ghosts or Noah's Ark or whatever, right?
I believe you right there. Yeah, you are right about that, because.
So it's entertainment at some level, although it may be dishonest entertainment.
Or at least biased.
Biased, right?
Yeah.
So
people do make money out of this stuff, man.
So one of the mantras here is, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and in this case we have an extraordinary claim, right? It is something that if it's true is odd, is very needs an explanation, right? And as Tracie says, you can't just jump on the first thing
that comes to mind.
Or the most popular thing or whatever.
Well, that would be an argument from ignorance, because we wouldn't know what was causing it, but we'd be grasping it at most we could say, what can we look into? What can we examine? What is it that we can do to try to figure out what the explanation is? But supporting an explanation before we had evidence of a cause would be premature.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe past life regression, because, obviously I believe it, but in some sort of way, it's like,
we don't. Sorry.
No, we don't, but, I mean, that's I guess keep reading.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to register our disagreement on that that's not something that we buy into. I think there's a lot of con artistry going on there, and a lot of people making money off of it that And
the other thing, though, is there's something called the Forer effect, F-O-R-E-R, where if you give people horoscopes that are given out to crowds of people, they will say that these horoscopes rate very highly in describing them personally. So sometimes we tend to hear a thing and say, this person said this, and oh, it relates to this thing over here. But really, it's not that specific. And we just tend to make that leap because we draw connections and meaning between symbols and between information. As human beings, that's just something we're very, maybe a little too good at for our own good.
Yeah, we're also wired for stories, right? We want to hear a narrative. And I think that's part of the reason why the Bible is such a powerful meme or tool.
Why we would put those books together and say it's a coherent story?
Yeah. You're wrong. I don't even believe in the Bible even one.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a powerful thing, right? And to come up with a story about your past, it plays on people's need to feel special, and it's interesting, and it makes people feel I don't know, more connected to the universe or whatever. And it's a powerful thing. Powerful magic.
It is.
Although there's no magic there, I don't think. So
that's how I was when I was a Christian. Like I was so I was like really undenial. I was in denial. Like I didn't want to believe that Christianity was nothing more than people just writing books, like the claims that have no evidence to support them.
The thing to remember is that don't believe somebody that's telling you that you need to be coerced into believing a thing before it's demonstrated as true. If they haven't demonstrated to you it's true, don't be afraid of the threats of hellfire. If somebody can't even show you that they're, until after they're showing you there could even be any merit to it, don't be concerned about it any more than you would be concerned about aliens abducting you. Just because people say that it's happening to them. I mean, certainly anyone could say, aren't you concerned aliens will come and get you in your sleep? Why aren't you reading up on this? It's because I'm not convinced that it's true. When you convince me that it's true, then I'll worry about whether or not I'm on the abduction list. But until then, I'm not concerned about that. I'm not concerned about your hell. I'm not concerned about, your curses or whatever. It doesn't concern me.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you.
I have another question.
Oh,
Let's make it quick, Jonathan. We've got some other callers.
All right. What do you do with people who just deny evidence? I'm talking about someone, but I don't want to mention their name.
Okay.
It's like, no matter how much evidence you throw in their face, they won't believe it.
What do you mean, what do you do with those people? Like, do we put them in camps, or, no, a person like that, you have to realize that when somebody denies reality in order to adhere to a belief, you're dealing with an unreasonable person. And if you can't reason with that person, I don't know what you can do. So the best thing you can do is save your own life by saving your own time, by not devoting time to arguing with a person that you have seen demonstrated does not care whether or not their beliefs align with reality.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to, educate people, like
Sure.
the Atheist Experience. I just like to let them know that their beliefs might be false. I can't believe they're not open-minded.
Well, indoctrination does two things, though. First of all, it teaches you something, and second of all, it teaches you to make that something impervious to criticism. So there's like a two-level thing there. So you've got the belief, and then on top of that belief, you've got the apologetic indoctrination that says this is impervious to criticism. And so if someone tells you something that makes you doubt your belief, that person is Satan talking to you, or they're wrong, this can't be right, because everything in reality has to align with the Word of God. If the evidence shows the earth is 4 billion years old, but really the Bible says it's 6 or 10,000 years old, well then they're wrong, and one day they'll find that it's really 10,000 years old. So right now I'm ignoring that evidence because it doesn't align with the Bible, which I know is real. So they don't adjust their beliefs based on evidence. They just disregard the evidence that doesn't align with their belief because they're already convinced the belief is true because that was what was put into their head when they were an infant.
In other words, you're closed-minded.
They never had an opportunity to come to that belief through real criticism and thought and thinking. That it was put there before they had an opportunity to criticize it, and protections were put in place in their minds to protect that belief from later run-ins with reality.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jonathan. Well, thank you. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was 3 drop. Okay, we've got Matt from Greene, Ohio. Welcome, Matt. You're on the air.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, I just wanted to say I'm a real big fan of your show, and I was watching in a couple of callers back, I'm not sure how many, he was talking about reincarnation, and I don't believe in reincarnation, but I believe I have a most plausible theory of how that would occur.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You don't believe in it, but you have a plausible
He's doing a hypothetical.
theory for why it might work?
I'm agnostic to it.
Okay, all right. All right, lay it on us. Go for it.
Well, it's going to be hard to explain.
That's all right. Take a deep breath and...
I'm a bit nervous. It's my first time calling in
no
anymore.
problem. No problem. Just just think we're in the room and we're just friends, just chit-chatting.
We're all just people here.
We're all just people.
Well, I believe that after you die, it's the law of conservation of mass, so your atoms and energy are preserved and recycled. And eventually, though, albeit in a different form, it is possible that your non-living life could be recycled and somehow produced into living life.
Okay. Well,
I think
at one sense it is, right? In the sense of energy in the physics sense, of heat
Yeah.
and light and these sorts of things, not the woo-woo psychic,
Yeah, I mean, to say that somebody's
crystal
mind
energy
can
sort
somehow
of thing.
come back is a little bit different, yeah.
So yes, matter and energy are, we break down, the worms chew us up, whatever, and we become part of our elements and things become reused because we're sitting around and other living forms suck them up and use them. So in that sense, we are reincarnated. But you mean something more than that, right? You mean that our identities and our memories and these sorts of things are potentially preserved?
No, not at all.
Okay.
What I was getting at is that you don't necessarily retain your memories or any of that, but that you could, in essence, become alive again somehow.
Well,
In
yeah,
that
it's like
sense.
you're materially recycled.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think you are.
That's not too controversial.
That you might regain some consciousness in some living form.
Some of your atoms or whatever may go into
this whole
something
notion
that-
of what is you, though, is I think the heart of the problem here.
Yeah,
right?
we're talking about a material existence, I think, not a mind. We're not talking about the brain concept of mind, right?
Well, if you are the sum of every atom that's ever sort of been associated with your body,
Right.
then yes. But if you is something that we normally think of as an identity,
Right.
then no. Right? Are you with us there, or does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. Yeah, then I think you're correct. I don't even think that's, like Dawn said, I don't even think that's controversial. I think you're correct.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Just acknowledging.
Yeah. But I would avoid the word reincarnation in that case because a lot of folks, a lot of these words are intentionally vague and intentionally bring a lot of baggage with them.
Yeah. I would say metaphorical. It's kind of metaphorical the way he's using it.
Right.
Because people will say I'm reincarnated, that you rise again in your children, for example. I actually have a song that's about that, that's on my iPod, that you go on, your genes go on in your kids.
Well, yeah.
And I mean, but yeah, that's not exactly what, to use reincarnation to describe that, you would have to label it as a metaphor because it is very different than what is normally used by the word.
Right.
Yeah.
There are some scientists who lightly invoke the word God when they talk about the creation of the universe, and they've actually caused a lot of problems in that respect because this word God has so much baggage associated with it, and people want to read into their own interpretations of it. So I would, if you're on this topic and you want to, present this idea, I wouldn't even use the word reincarnation. I'd use the word of, recycling or
That's right. Make it green. Green reincarnation.
That's right. We were green before we knew it. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Matt?
Well, I would, but
what?
I'm busy right now.
Oh, you're busy.
Okay. All right.
We don't want to take up too much of your time.
All right.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling, man. All right.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye.